Hi guys, welcome to the skill of the week. This week we are talking about the panda warmer. Get excited. I know this scares a lot of people, so we're gonna kind of go through step by step what to do to get your baby warm and a few other neat things that you can do with the panda warmer. So first things first, baby comes and is delivered. If you're able to, it's best to start this up ahead of time. For the manufacturer, it takes about 7 minutes to fully get warmed up. So if you know there's something coming in where you might need this, flip it on ahead of time so that it's fully warmed up and ready to go. But a lot of times with a Code OB, you have no idea that they're coming. So get it on as fast as you can, just so that you have the opportunity to actually start warming your baby. So there are a couple of on-off switches. There is one in the back here. It's more like a circuit breaker in your house. That one should always be on. So if you start flipping this on-off switch and nothing is happening, double check and make sure in the back that the main on-off switch is flipped to on. Also, it has to be plugged in. Always make sure you plug it in first. So make sure the switch in the back is turned on. Make sure the switch in the front is turned on. It automatically starts warming. As soon as you turn it on, you'll start feeling the warmth here. So there are two different ways that the panda warmer can work. One is you just set it on like a percentage. So it automatically starts at 100%, meaning it heats as high as it can, just continuously. The second way you can do it, which is the better way to do it, is to use the temperature of the baby, and you want to warm the baby to a normal temperature, and then the machine kind of regulates that based on the baby's temperature. But first, it automatically starts at 100%. So when you first flip this thing on, it'll kind of blink at you, ding at you. The easiest thing to do, especially for a Code OB, is to start with the ApGar on-off button. So what that does, it takes you to your main screen, but it also starts a timer here. That's helpful. I know a lot of times we don't actually do ApGars when we deliver a baby just because there's so much else going on, but it at least gives you a timer counting up so that when they come down and they ask, when was the time of the birth? You can say it was X number of minutes ago, and they can do the math on that. So this ApGar thing, it will count up. It'll ding at you at 1, 5, and 10 minutes, reminding you that you need to do an ApGar score. So when you first turn it on, so the heating power, like I said, it's at 100%, it's gonna ding at you. What this wants, it just wants you to acknowledge that you realize that it's at 100%. So you can hit either the up or the down. Doing that, it just sets that, it just locks it into place. It'll stop dinging at you now. So do that right away, again, just to get the heat going. The next thing you wanna do is change it from, oh, see, there you go, ApGar. We're due for an ApGar score. We want to switch it from manual mode to baby. So we are going to open our drawer up. And in here, you've got all sorts of goodies. There are these one-use, single-use temperature probes in here that we will plug into our unit here. So over on this side, there's a little picture. It shows the scale and the thermometer. There's only one way you can plug this in. There's just a little thing right over here on the side. So you plug this in. So the little end here is your actual temperature probe. All this is, it's a reflective sticker. So you don't want the thermometer reading the heat that's coming off of here. You want the thermometer reading what's actually the temperature of the baby. So you put this sticker over this to reflect the heat this way so that you're just getting an accurate reading from the baby. So first things first, you're gonna come up here and you're gonna hit this button. It switches it from manual to baby. And so it's gonna tell us that the baby is cold. Anytime that this thing is alarming, there are a couple of ways that you can silence the alarm. First things first, there's the silence button right here that you guys are all familiar with. The other neat thing about this is it does have a sensor in it. So like if you're sterile, if you're doing a procedure, something like that, and it starts alarming, you can wave your hand in front of this sensor and it will turn off the alarm. So it will start alarming because it's saying that we're not up to temperature. So again, similarly to when it sets at 100%, it automatically sets at 36.5, which is just fine where it's at. But it wants us to acknowledge this temperature, which is why it's blinking. So once again, we'll push either the up or the down, doesn't matter which. It sets that into place. Red, obviously bad, saying that our temp is too low. It's not even readable at this point. So I'm just gonna put this under my arm to see if we can get it to warm up a little bit. It does read within 1 degree. So if we have it at 36.5, our range is 37.5 to 35.5. So it's as long as it's in that 1 degree fluctuation, you should be in the green zone. So let's see if we can at least get to green. Let's see if I'm warm enough to get to green. Otherwise we can turn down the temp to get us into the, oh, we're almost there, yellow. All right, so we're within 1 degree of our set temperature. So that'll stop alarming for us. Where you wanna put this, see? They want it close to the axilla because we do want to get as close to like an axillary temp as possible. Babies are often flailing and stuff like that, so you don't want to put it right under their armpit. It's going to rub, it's going to chafe, it's going to hurt. So they do want it close to the nipple line over towards the axilla. So I would put this right here. So you just put this down, open this up. One side is sticky, the other side is reflective. So you just set this down and then put the sticker right on top of it like that. And just make sure it's nice and secure to your baby. That way it reads the temperature of your baby and the bed heat adjusts in order to get your baby to a normal temperature. Other things that you can do with this, we do have an SPO2 cable that's hooked right into the machine. So you can just put your pulse ox right in here and put it on the baby. Same thing, this button just turns it on and off. Those are the only functions of that. You can turn the APGAR, oh, we're due for an APGAR. There's your 5-minute APGAR. You can turn that timer off if you want. There are some other features in the menu. You can do a scale. You can trend the temperatures and just like some basic function setup. The only other thing that I think we would really be using here in the ER is the scale. If you have time to weigh a baby, you can do it that way. You just need to make sure that it's zeroed before you actually put the baby on, which sometimes we don't have the luxury of being able to do. So I'm going to turn this back into manual mode so that it'll stop dinging at me. So now we're back at just 100% power, but it'll still give us the temperature reading of baby. Other things on this machine. So there is suction built right into the machine. So you can turn this on and off, and this works just like a wall suction where you can turn up the amount of suction. The canister, it's the exact same canister that we use in all of our rooms. It just hangs out right here, so you just need suction tubing, and that will work that way. In order for the suction to work, you have to have the Panda Warmer hooked up to the wall oxygen. It will not work if there's no oxygen flowing. Just something to keep in mind. There are oxygen tanks on the back. So if baby needs oxygen or baby needs suction, you have to hook these up. There are a couple different ways that you can hook up the oxygen. I'm just gonna turn this off for right now. A couple ways that you can hook up the oxygen. So we have oxygen in an air tank. If you're not close to a wall, you can use the tanks. They are hooked directly to the machine, so you don't have to do anything with the hoses. You just have to turn the tanks on. We have had issues where people don't know where the key is or they can't find the key, so we actually have 2 keys right on the machine. So if you can't locate one of the 2 keys, we've got bigger problems. But so there's one, this black one is tethered, it's hanging back behind the oxygen machine, so you can grab this and you use it like this, and you just open up the tanks enough to pressurize it. The other one is, it has a zip tie right here. Obviously you can't get it up to here without it, so you just have to break the zip tie and then you can use the key. You just need to make sure that it gets re-zip tied back to it. But on the off chance that it doesn't, there's still this one here that you can use. If you are close to a wall hookup, or if baby's going to be here for a while, let's say it's not like a code OB, it's just a sick kid who needs oxygen, these can be hooked up to our wall oxygen and air. And then they are controlled on the front of the machine, similar to like our oxygen. There is like a blender and everything like that. I recommend, if you're going to be doing with any of this stuff, call respiratory. You know, we can use our stabilization techniques, but then they can do some of this fine tuning of the oxygen. There is always an ambu bag, a Neo ambu bag over on the side here. I know sometimes it does take a while to get the oxygen set up, especially if this is a delivery. Mom's in the bed and we can't get to the wall for the oxygen. We can't get the tanks on. So something that you can do if they're asking for just blow-by oxygen is you can take your Neo ambu bag, and this tubing is pretty long. You can hook that up to the wall, disconnect it, and you can blow this by baby's face to give them a little extra oxygen. It's not ideal, but if people are really struggling getting this to work and baby needs oxygen, this is one way to do it. Obviously, if baby really needs resuscitating, we're not giving blow-by, you need to start bagging the baby. There are a few other just little things. There's a light here. Oh, we're gonna turn it back on. There is a light right here. This is more, it's like a spotlight, literally. So this is good for like straight calves on babies. There's also a light knob here. So this adjusts the actual like lighting on the bed. And then the spotlight is an additional light source for that. This thing is great for newborns, infants. Once baby is able to roll over, you really shouldn't have them in this because it really isn't safe. These sides aren't very high. You can put these sides up and down if you're going to be doing procedures, things like that. Just make sure, like any other person, that you're always putting the side rails back up. This rolls around really nicely. Lots of other little goodies in here that you guys can look through. The big thing to know is where the temperature probes are. If it is a delivery, a lot of times people are fumbling around with the OB kit. There is an extra OB kit in here if you need it. But a lot of the time the doc is asking for the clamps, and nobody can find the clamps in the OB kit. So there are extra clamps in here if you need them. Just some basic other supplies that you guys can look through at your leisure. Hats, baby blankets, wipes, everything like that. They did go ahead and create a neonatal airway box to try and take away some of the clutter and everything from the drawer down here. So this should always be with the Panda Warmer. It does have a lock on it. I'm not going to open it up, but if you need to intubate the baby, if you need anything airway related, crack this open. There is a specialized ambu bag in there as well that sometimes they like to use. It's like the anesthesia one that has the big green balloon that blows up. So if anybody's asking for that, that is also in here. I think that's about it. If you have any other questions, please let me know. But that should at least get you through what you need to do to get your baby nice and warm. Thanks, guys.